All right, let's dive deep into Pep Guardiola's first year at Bayern Munich. We're going behind the scenes with Guardiola Confidential by Martí Perarnau.
It's a look inside his mind. You'll see how he analyzes the pressure of coaching a team that just won everything.
Yeah, Bayern had just pulled off the treble, Bundesliga, German Cup, Champions League. Expectations were insane.
And they didn't just want wins, they were obsessed with Barcelona's tiki-taka under Guardiola. They wanted that in Munich.
And Guardiola, he shows up speaking German. What a move.
Shows his commitment, right? And intelligence. To lead, especially in a new culture, you got to connect deeper. He's not just imposing ideas, he's immersing himself.
So this Guardiola philosophy, it's possession-based, but what's at its core?
More than just keeping the ball. Think positional play, creating advantages all over the field. Like chess, each player has a role, understands how their moves impact everything.
Not just passing for the sake of it.
Hates that. Passing for the sake of passing, he calls it. Every pass has a purpose, every move pushes the attack forward.
This comes from his playing days, right? He wasn't the strongest or fastest.
Exactly. He had to outsmart opponents. Focused on passing, positioning, reading the game. That's what he instills in his teams.
So at Bayern, what tactical innovations did he bring?
Well, the false nine revival was fascinating. Remember Messi at Barcelona? No traditional striker, a player dropping back, pulling defenders out, creating space for midfielders.
And he adapted that for Bayern with guys like Ribéry. Must have been a nightmare to defend against.
Totally disrupted defenses. Teams weren't used to that movement from a forward. But there's more. He revolutionized how fullbacks were used.
This is where things get really interesting. He basically made his fullbacks into midfielders.
Think Lam, Alaba. Already gifted, but he pushes them into midfield during build-up, creates overloads in the center. Bayern dominates possession, controls the tempo.
Brilliant. But was everyone happy? This is German football, known for direct, counter-attacking play.
Friction, definitely. The book mentions Matthias Sammer, the sporting director, publicly criticized the team, said they were complacent, questioned if all this possession meant enough goals.
Did Guardiola budge?
Not really. Stayed true to his vision, but he adapts too. Constantly tweaking the system, trying formations like 3-4-2-1, experimenting with false midfielders for more fluidity.
The thought he puts into everything. The book compares his pre-match analysis to a chess grandmaster like Magnus Carlsen.
Perfect analogy. He sees the whole field as a chessboard, anticipating moves, planning counter moves, expects the same tactical awareness from his players.
And speaking of players, Guardiola inherited a squad with big personalities. Let's talk about some key figures and their relationships with Guardiola.
Guardiola managing these big personalities is fascinating because his system demands so much from everyone. Take Philipp Lahm, world-class fullback, but Guardiola saw more.
Turned him into a midfield maestro.
Right. He saw Lahm's tactical intelligence, the passing range, reading the game. Bold move, but it worked. Lahm just thrived in that role, running Bayern's attack from midfield.
Didn't work as well for everyone, though. The book talks about Thomas Müller struggling to adapt.
Yeah, incredibly gifted attacker, versatile, but used to a more central role, closer to goal. Guardiola initially saw him as a midfielder, which didn't really play to Müller's strengths.
Clash of styles, then. Manager with a vision, player used to something else. How'd that go?
Tension, for sure. Müller voiced his frustrations, performances dipped. But Guardiola's a pragmatist, too. Realized he had to adjust to Müller's unique talents.
Then there's Mario Mandzukic. Classic, hard-working center forward, but his style didn't mesh with Guardiola's philosophy.
Mandzukic, the traditional number 9, powerful, good in the air, a real goal scorer. But Guardiola wanted more fluidity, that mobile attack with the false 9. Plus, Lewandowski's arrival was on the horizon, adding another layer.
Player sensing his place is in danger, manager style doesn't suit him. Recipe for conflict.
It was. Mandzukic, fiery personality, not afraid to speak his mind. Clashed with Guardiola a few times, ultimately led to him leaving Bayern.
Shows that even the best tactical minds have to handle these personalities. Can't just treat players like chess pieces on a board.
You need that balance, tactical vision and man management. Guardiola prioritized the system over forcing a player into a role that just didn't fit.
The season itself, it was a roller coaster. Triumphs and setbacks.
Definitely. Bayern wins the Bundesliga easily, adds the Super Cup, the UEFA Super Cup, and the FIFA Club World Cup.
Impressive haul for a first season. But the Champions League semifinal loss to Real Madrid, that had to hurt.
Brutal, especially after dominating the first leg. Second leg, they were outclassed, exposed on the counter. Showed that even with all the possession, the tactical brilliance, Guardiola's system had weaknesses.
Football, a game of tiny margins. Dominate for ages, one lapse in concentration costs you everything.
That loss, I think it fueled Guardiola's drive to evolve. The book ends with him saying, I still need more time to consider that the team is mine. Like he was just getting started, so much more you wanted to do.
That constant need to improve, it's what makes him fascinating. Never satisfied, always refining, pushing the boundaries.
And that's what makes this book so good. You see the genius, but the vulnerabilities too. Frustrations, that sheer determination.
So after this deep dive into Guardiola's first year, what are the big takeaways for you?
Guardiola's tactical brilliance, no question. He brought these innovative ideas to Bayern, challenged the traditional German way, and was incredibly successful.
But it wasn't just the tactics, was it? That attention to detail, striving for perfection, the ability to adapt. And we saw that human side too. How he managed those personalities, the clashes, the triumphs, the frustrations. Even at the highest level, it's still about people.
Yeah, Guardiola Confidential captures that human element so well. You see the passion, the intensity, his deep connection to the game, to his players.
So after this look at his first year, what lasting impact did Guardiola have on Bayern, on German football?
He shifted things, I think. He proved that a possession-based style, all those intricate passes, the tactical flexibility, could work in a league known for being physical, for direct play.
Didn't just won with style. Must had a ripple effect, inspiring other coaches, players in Germany.
For sure. Look at German teams now. Way more emphasis on building from the back, controlling the pace, using possession as a weapon.
He planted a seed that keeps growing. And his influence, it's bigger than Germany. Look at Manchester City, how his ideas have spread through the Premier League everywhere.
He's changed how the game is played. And that Bayern experience, it was key. A time of intense learning, adaptation, growth for him and the club.
Crazy to think. Just his first year. Went on to even more success with Bayern. More titles. Kept refining his system.
All built on that foundation from that first season. The tactical innovations, the clashes of style, the relationships he built. Guardiola Confidential puts us right there to witness it all.
If you love the tactics, the inner workings of a genius, the drama behind the scenes at a top club, you have to read this book.
It's not just for Bayern fans or Guardiola fans. It's for anyone who wants to know what it takes to reach the top in this sport.
So there we have it. A deep dive into Pep Guardiola's first year at Bayern Munich. Tactical brilliance, cultural clashes, and the drive for perfection.
Join us next time for another deep dive into the world of football. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep the beautiful game alive.